Grabbing on my crotch, looking at my watch. It's time for the John and Ant Show.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the John and Ant Show. I'm John.
This is Ant.
And ready for a spectacular Thursday in the studio. Sort of a studio.
Nice fancy studio.
A nice fancy studio. And happy Valentine's Day to all those lovers out there. And these are for you guys. This is a special treat.
My goodness.
Special treat for all you lovebirds out there. Ant, want to take
And for all you not lovebirds, we apologize for this segment. But John really wants to do this.
This is for all you lovebirds out there.
Oh boy.
Can you feel it? Can you feel the love? Can you feel the love? There's a call to surrender.
I can feel us losing subscribers.
That's for you, all those lovebirds out there today. So enjoy it, have fun, do whatever you guys want. And as for Ant, all those single guys.
What? What are you trying to say?
Well,
let's just do the damn show.
I'm just saying, for you just mentioned for all those single guys out there, what do you want them to do?
Just pretend that didn't happen.
To pretend that didn't happen. Yeah, let's get on. I had my fun. Happy Valentine's Day to all those boys and girls, women and guys out there. Enjoy it. So news. I guess WWE put on their website that there's going to be a second Elimination Chamber match.
And this really threw me off because now I've been hearing a lot of conflicting reports about the Shield and John Cena, Ryback, Sheamus match. First I'm hearing it's Elimination, then I'm hearing it's not, then I'm hearing Elimination Chamber. And I really don't know what to make of it.
Well, I
think it just might be a typo. Maybe somebody didn't update the website.
It's a good possibility.
So
this is what it says. WWE teases that there may be 2 Elimination Chamber matches at Sunday's pay-per-view after all. In a new Chamber article on WWE's website, they wrote the following: with 2 Elimination Chamber matches slated for this Sunday, February 17th, who's to say horror awaits with the 12 superstars when they enter Satan's prison?
Well, again, I just think it's probably just an outdated thing. They just didn't go back and correct the article, because there almost certainly isn't a second Elimination Chamber match. There's been no advertisement for it, and why you would not push, why you wouldn't hype up a second Elimination Chamber match is beyond me. If there was going to be one, I would figure they would be mentioning it just as much as they're mentioning the other Elimination Chamber match. But I believe there will be one.
There should be.
Because they don't want to take away from also the Rock and CM Punk match. So I would be interested to see. I'm almost sure that the Rock and CM Punk will close out.
Oh, definitely.
The pay-per-view again.
Definitely, it's got to.
Because if the Royal Rumble can't even close out its own pay-per-view,
I know.
Then neither will the Elimination Chamber match.
Breaking news in the studio. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Anyway.
But it is interesting to note that that seems to be just like a careless mistake.
Seems like it. But I'd rather see it in a chamber, to be honest. Okay. If you're going to have these 6 guys who are, especially Ryback, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And if you want them to beat Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus, might as well put them in a chamber.
Makes sense.
At least, if they do win, it's like, oh, okay, they beat them in a chamber, not in a regular tag match.
Right.
Because that'd be putting them over.
But I feel like they're not going to do that either. It does make sense. It would make sense. It would be pretty cool. With regard to the Shield, if you put them in an Elimination Chamber match, you're going to have parts of the match where they're going to have to showcase their own abilities.
Yeah.
You're going to have Dean Ambrose showing what he can do in the ring by himself.
That's true.
Seth Rollins. They're all going to have their solo spot at some point, unless other members are released from their pods. But I figure that's not what WWE wants to do right now. What they want to do is they want to keep the Shield a cohesive unit. They work together as a group. And that's how they beat Ryback and Team
Yeah.
Hell No. They were hardly ever on their own in that match. They ganged up on each one of the members.
You got a point.
And I feel like if it was just that type of match, an Elimination Chamber match, I don't know how much confidence WWE has in those competitors.
No, you're right.
And I'm not saying that they don't have the talent, because I believe Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose can go in the ring,
Oh, they can.
right? And Roman Reigns can have a power spot in there somewhere, but I think WWE is more concerned with putting over Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus, their big three, if you will, pushing them farther, pushing them to the moon. Because I'm telling you, like, this year is going to be Cena's going to be unstoppable, and I don't see any reason why the WWE would give him a loss right before Mania.
No, you're right.
Because if you remember last year, the match that Cena had before WrestleMania was, what was it? The Kane? It was
I
John
think
Cena
so.
versus Kane in an ambulance match, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody knew Cena was going to win that
Of
match,
course.
because they're not going to give Cena a loss right before his match with The Rock.
Yeah, right. What? Cena lose?
And apparently, that seems to be the road the WWE's heading down now. Cena Rock too, so I would figure, why would this be any different? Why would they give Cena a loss? Although, one of the more important things to note about this match is it's not an elimination match. It's just a 6-man tag match,
Yeah.
1 pinfall, that's it. So it is possible Ryback or Sheamus take the pin. It doesn't have to be Cena.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just get the feeling that Cena's going to be involved in the finish, whether he does the pinning, or again, I just don't see him getting pinned. Anything.
No,
like that.
I don't blame you on that. That'd be putting them over, which is a no-no to WWE, because if you pin Cena, you're putting someone over. So obviously that won't happen.
And there's only been a very select few who have been able to do that.
Like Punk,
The Rock, and that's been about it.
Well,
Not even Brock Lesnar.
The thing with Punk, the thing with Rock, we knew he was winning. You didn't realize until later that
Until it was too late.
Until it was too
Yeah.
late. I realized right away. Hometown in Florida.
Looking back, it should have been obvious.
Yes.
Should have been obvious that The Rock was going to win. I didn't necessarily see why he should win, but okay, what? No harm.
No harm, no foul.
And if anything, it did give some potential to a possible storyline with Brock Lesnar finishing Cena off, but of course, that didn't happen.
Yeah. Like I said.
But it was in a way it worked, because it was good to see Cena reeling, in a way.
Oh, no,
as
you're
opposed
right.
to being the powerhouse that he always is. But again, he just went back and started winning. What can you do?
That's the year of Cena as you would
Well,
like.
no, not last year. Not necessarily
Not
back
last
to winning,
year.
because he just beat Brock Lesnar, and then he started losing pay-per-views a lot. But still with good showings. Not one of those losses were clean.
No, you're right. And now, what is it as you tell everybody? The year of John Cena?
Yeah, this is it. This is it's happening so far. And
Which is
I even
sad.
think the last time he was attacked by Big E Langston was last year. I think it was the last edition of Raw for 2012. And then 2013, he was able to fight him off. And Big E Langston just forgot about him, because since then, I think Cena and Ziggler haven't really had any encounters at all.
No.
At this point, the Shield is just a stepping stone to WrestleMania for John Cena.
Right now, but like I said, you pin John Cena, it's a no-no in the company. So I think Vince will get very upset. I could see maybe that if they pin like Ryback or Sheamus, technically it's not getting them over, because Ryback's he's up there, but not the stepping stone of putting someone over. Same thing with Sheamus. I'd call him a mid-carder right now.
Sheamus.
I'd call him a what? He's only...
He's not in the title picture.
He's not in the
now.
title picture, and if you want to call the Shield mid-carders, you could call them mid-carders. They're really... they've tacked just like Nexus as they're beating up on superstars.
Yeah.
And I hate to call them mid-card, but that's what they are right now.
Yeah.
Even though it's a great storyline, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's just if you don't pin Cena, you're not over.
I still think there's a way. They could.
Even if
it's possible.
if you-
the only thing Shield has to do, in order to not get buried, is not lose. I know what
That's
you're saying.
true.
I understand your opinion, and I respect it enough. But I feel like you can salvage the Shield and not ruin this entire storyline just by having Shield somehow not lose or take a pin. You know,
You got a point.
Um,
You got a point. But like I said, if I can see them pinning Sheamus or Ryback, I just can't see them pinning Cena.
They won't.
You know?
They won't, because then what that would mean is Cena would have to deal with the Shield first before he goes to WrestleMania.
Which he has 7 weeks to do.
He has 7 weeks to do, but I feel like I don't think they would do that not in a pay-per-view.
I think there's more. I think there's gonna be more added to the storyline with the Shield.
Mm-hmm.
I have like a weird feeling Brad Maddox is involved somehow, some way.
Okay.
Even though they beat his butt up,
It would be interesting to see that.
you know, just a
See
part
him
like
come
a
back.
swerve. Because they've done it before. They've beaten someone up and 10 minutes later they're in the group.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like we haven't seen it. It's been done.
Mm-hmm.
I just like to know eventually when they're going to reveal who this leader is. You know,
Yeah. If there is a lead.
if there is a leader, you know, because I'm starting to wonder like Paul Heyman just paid them off.
Yeah.
You know, to work for them, and of course you're going to take the money and help them. Correct.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I mean, you're fighting against injustice anyway. And in Punk and Heyman's eyes, it's injustice that The Rock is getting a title shot. So, you know, it worked.
So like I said, we have 3 days away from the Elimination Chamber, and it seems like a decent pay per view.
I'll tell you what, the card, we're not giving the card enough credit.
I know
Because it looks good.
It does look good.
The only things that, again, the only thing that doesn't seem promising is the future of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
That's about it. If it wasn't for that...
And the World Heavyweight title for the number 1 contendership. Because that could go either way. Like
It's interesting.
You could give Chris Jericho it and make Dolph cash it, or make Dolph cash it that night.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And then have set up Jericho and Ziggler at 29.
Right.
Because we've seen them go already. It'd be a great match. Now, I'm going to take another spin of the wheel and bring up The Undertaker. He better make his decision soon once again, because now he's really pissing me off.
They're just waiting. They're biding their time. Something else.
Supposedly, nothing's definite, but there has been a final decision made, but it's kept very quiet.
Okay.
He is still planned to face Punk this year, but people close to him, once again, are saying that he won't wrestle this year, and 30 could be his retirement.
Okay.
Or as they do is tour, as they do for every wrestler that retires.
Right.
So he did come off of hip surgery and shoulder surgery, and that kept him from doing any exercise whatsoever. Couldn't do anything with his legs. So, your Taker, are you wrestling this year?
With all those surgeries,
Yep.
that post-
And he could not train at all. Would you, Undertaker?
I don't know. I just don't think he would want to. There's no other real word for it. Half-assed out there.
That's one of the words he did say.
Like we said, really
Yep.
nice. Basically, like we've said before, in the past Undertaker's matches, they've been good enough. You know, I never thought that they were brilliant, but then he started to turn it up a notch for the last few batches of WrestleMania. And I think he's at a point where he wants to end it off on a good note.
I think
He doesn't.
so.
Let's say he goes into this WrestleMania, 29, has a match, and it's a panned match.
Okay.
It's just everyone says, "Wow, that was pretty bad." Okay. Again, that's not really synonymous with Undertaker anymore, because lately he's been having great matches whenever he shows up. But I figure if he were to finish his career, he'd want it to end at the end of an era match. He wouldn't want to risk it losing. He wouldn't want to risk ending his career in a bad match against, let's say, CM Punk. Granted, I think CM Punk would be able to carry the match and still make it watchable, but I don't think that's the type of competitor that the Undertaker is. He wants to go out there. He wants to give it his all.
Oh, I know.
And if he's really hurting from those surgeries, he really should just stay away from the ring at this point.
He should. That's
Maybe make an appearance at another pay-per-view to showcase. See how you're doing. Would you be ready for the next WrestleMania?
no, that's true, and it's not like he hasn't missed a WrestleMania. He has already. It's just honestly, it'd be weird that he's not going to be wrestling. I think he shouldn't wrestle. That's just my opinion. Just because I think if this doesn't happen, you have to set up that triple threat.
Okay.
Because what's CM Punk going to do?
It's taking time away from a potential. Well, no, not really, because even whatever happens after this, that could still lead into.
Well, also,
But my main problem is, you got to start building for Punk Undertaker if that's going to happen.
I know. And how are you going to build that? Oh yeah, what I was going to say, Punk only wants his respect. The lights go out, and it's Taker. There's your storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, Taker says, okay, I'm not going to wrestle this year. Then what do? You have to start building Punk, Rock, and Cena for a triple threat.
Right.
And you better start that soon. That's all I know. Because this is taking time off of what could be done at Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
Where you could have some swerves and this and that and more swerves into the card and Dolph cashes the World Heavyweight title and maybe Brock helps Punk or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
It's just, come on, Taker, make a decision already. I love you. I love you as a superstar and stuff like that.
I think the main deal is.
Come on, man, make a decision already. Come on, man.
If the decision is that Undertaker will not wrestle, it'll be less of a hindrance, because in that way Punk will still be able to stay in the title contendership thing.
Okay.
If the final decision is that he will wrestle at WrestleMania, it has to be made soon.
It's gotta.
Again, because you got to build for it. You can't just throw. It'd be unfair to CM Punk, really.
Yeah. Oh,
because
definitely.
he's in one of the greatest storylines, really, because it's a 400+ day title reign, culminating against a match with a legend who has returned, possibly also going up against the face of the company, John Cena. And I feel like that's a great way for it to end for CM Punk in terms of this storyline at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Against two of the biggest names that the company has ever seen.
After that, who knows? You can start a bunch of new storylines.
Right.
But as of right now, we're 8 weeks away from WrestleMania, and you just have to. Come on, man, make a decision already. Come on, man. I don't know what else to say about it. I've pretty much said what I've had to say. So
Yeah. No, I just feel that this whole situation is it is unfair to CM Punk, because
it's also unfair.
If you're CM Punk, what are you thinking? Where am I even going to be?
You got a point.
Cena and Rock already know where they're going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Also, El Generico made his debut in NXT. He's staying with El Generico and keeping the mask.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So far, we haven't seen any big changes.
I like it.
Any changes at all, really.
I know, he's still the same. Keep it.
But there's a big but there. Give it time. Give it time, because if he has something there that the WWE doesn't like, they will change it.
Of course. It's
And
WWE.
that includes his moveset.
I don't know if they're going to change his moveset, though, because his moveset's a little different. I've watched some of his ROH matches, and he'll bring something new to WWE that no one's, seen before.
Is that what they want, though? That's the question. Because the
if
thing that scares me the most, though, is that he'll end up like Sin Cara again. I do believe he will be better. Not in the sense of ring work or anything. Better in the sense that he can communicate better with others, because there's not that language barrier.
I know.
Okay, he doesn't need a translator like Sin Cara does. So that's a big plus for El Generico.
No, you're right.
But I just am afraid that all those amazing moves that he does do, there will be some that the WWE will decide to limit. Only time will tell, really.
No, you're right. I wanted to get something up real quick.
And this
when
was
I mean bringing something new, it's something like this. Give us 1 second. I don't have this sound on, but would you ever see that in WWE?
well, what I just saw was El Generico dive through the turnbuckles and the ring post and give someone a tornado DDT. That was pretty fantastic. I have not seen anything like that before. But again, I don't know if WWE would allow that or if they have any wrestlers who are willing to
I
be
think
in that
so.
spot. I hope so. I can imagine, him with Daniel Bryan
I think
putting
so.
off some amazing matches.
And remember, they're all.
Dolph Ziggler's another one.
Remember,
Who I think
all these guys have come from ROH.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's a bit of a, I don't want to say, more of a family. You know, because when you start off with like a group and you're there for a while, they consider family. So you consider El Generico, Cassius Ohno, Antonio Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Punk. All of them have come to ROH.
Yeah.
You know, I factor away from like Samoa Joe because all of them are in TNA.
True.
You know, it'd be nice if Joe came to WWE because I think he'd be treated a little bit better.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't. That's tough.
I
That's a
first
tough
heard
call.
I first heard that he was gonna actually be the original Humaga,
Okay.
which I can never see.
Yeah, I couldn't see
That
Joe,
was a
Joe
no-no
playing
on my
that
part.
character.
I can never see him playing that character. But as for like when Nigel went to TNA, I thought he made a bad choice. He should have gone to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been another guy from ROH.
Well, there's a lot of questionable decisions
I know.
made in the wrestling business. One that we were just joking about was Sting's decision to re-sign with TNA.
Yeah, Sting.
That was pretty funny. Again, none of us here are Sting marks, and none of us here were hell bent on seeing Sting versus Undertaker. But just for laughs, you know how when WrestleMania is coming around, everybody starts saying, "Oh, Sting Undertaker, Sting Undertaker," for some reason. I don't know.
I don't get it.
But you see these fake posters, and I believe it was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Where it was Sting, for the first time we had a real possibility of Sting signing with the WWE. Obviously, he would have been thrown into a match with The Undertaker.
Yep.
And, when Sting signed with TNA, he did the Joker Sting gimmick. Which obviously was the greatest gimmick of all time.
Stop it. It was horrible.
And just a comparison, so rather than sign with the WWE and have a match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania, you decided to re-sign with TNA and pull off a reject Joker Sting gimmick. I mean, again, I don't want to judge their decision because I'm not in their shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see what they see. I don't know what goes on in the locker room the same way they do. And there are other factors in terms of how the WWE has a tendency to use former stars from other companies. But I just found that funny, and I figured I'd just say that here.
No, I know. Like I said, I was going back to you have an ROH family, and these are guys from ROH that have gone either TNA or WWE. As you have, Abyss was actually in ROH.
Okay.
He went to TNA. AJ Styles, TNA. Austin Aries, TNA. But all, they've gone to WWE, but, Velocity.
Mm.
That's it. Daniel Bryan, Velocity.
Sunday Night Heat.
Those type of stuff. Daniel Bryan, WWE, good choice. Chris Hero, same thing, WWE, good choice. Daniels is in his 40s. I can understand why WWE would not want him now.
Yeah.
Who wants a guy that's 40? Great talent. I love him, but there's the 40 mark. There's you're 40 years old. I think it's time to not retire, but he says he can go another 2 years.
Sure.
But also in TNA, he gets treated right, and I know why he doesn't want to leave. So, Cole Cabana was pretty surprised that WWE let him go, because same thing, friend of CM Punk's, almost best friend with CM Punk, and to see that, that kind of sucked in my opinion.
Right.
Like I said, there's just a family of people from ROH that are in WWE or in TNA, and just get along. Like I said, El Generico, now you add that to the mix, and he's probably Punk. Claudio, sorry, excuse me for a minute.
Antonio Cesaro.
Claudio,
whatever, no longer exists. He's a thing of the past.
He's a thing of the past.
Antonio Cesaro is where it's at now.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it. I was doing the Cesaro thing, whatever he wants to call it. But as I said, it's just I think he's friends with all of them, and maybe he'll feud with Bryan, maybe he'll feud with Punk, maybe he'll feud with Antonio Cesaro, maybe he'll feud with Cassisono. There's tons of possibilities out there, but that's ROH is like a wherever you go, it's like family. You have some ROH family in TNA, you have some of them in WWE, so
Right.
it's nice to see that, because back then, it was kind of like you come from the independents and it's not really much.
Yeah.
And it takes time to grow. Like Bryan stayed in ROH from like 2002 to 2009.
Yeah.
Which is pretty that's pretty good.
And at that point, you probably wonder if you're ever gonna make it to the big time.
That is true. And I'm glad he has.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I just wish El Generico luck, and I hope they change nothing. There is nothing to change.
Mm-hmm.
He could be our next Rey Mysterio, but better. Not this old fatty Rey Mysterio we have now, who's wearing suspenders. So he pretty much shows you he's fat and out of shape, and he should just call it. Come on, man. Come on, he's done. You see it in the ring.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
I
that.
guess.
Now it's just
There's a lot of things he can't do anymore.
like jump.
But
You're
it is
just,
I don't know. I have trouble blaming it all on Mysterio. But no, I do see he's definitely at the end of his career. So
He is. Since it's Valentine's Day, we have some of the oddest couples.
hold on 1 sec. Main event.
Oh, you want to talk about the main event real quick?
Yes, WWE Main
Go to
Event.
main event.
I just want to discuss that really quick. I caught it last night, as I always do. I enjoy Main Event. Sue me. Although the reason I love WWE's Main Event wasn't there this week. Usually I like it because it's more wrestling orientated. There's more matches. That's what they focus on. This edition of Main Event had one match. Just one.
Just one.
An hour-long show, and it had just one match.
Wow.
But there was more to it.
Well, I know you had.
And I'll get into that. The reason there was one match was because there was a very long segment to start the show off, and that was the highlight reel featuring not the Miz, Alberto Del Rio. Now the reason it was pushed, it was originally supposed to be the Miz.
Okay.
That's what they pushed on Monday Night Raw, and that's why on Monday Night Raw, when I saw them say highlight reel on Main Event featuring the Miz, I said to myself, why is he even there? They're wasting a highlight reel on the Miz. We haven't seen a highlight reel in a long time. The last person I want to see on its big return is the Miz. But he wasn't on. And Jericho said that the reason for this was because of the attack from Antonio Cesaro.
Okay. Good.
If there's something else backstage, whatever, with Miz's recent botch,
Yep.
but we don't know. But storyline wise, it's because he's recuperating from an Antonio Cesaro beating. He does apparently in the SmackDown spoilers. He has. He's going to have a taped shoulder.
Good.
I hope he does not have that taped shoulder in the pay-per-view because
That means he's winning.
But
see, like I said, I don't care about the U.S. title.
Mm-hmm.
They can give it to the Miz. I just want Cesaro. Now it's time to build him up for a title run, the WWE title or the World Heavyweight title.
And here's one of my favorite parts of this edition of Main Event. First of all, Rob sent me a note that he thought the opening segment was fantastic. Fantastic. It was a great edition of the highlight reel. It's nice to see a highlight reel where Jericho and or the set don't get destroyed.
For once.
Because every time I see a highlight reel, either it ends with Jericho taking a pounding or his set being thrown all over the place. Or both. This time there wasn't that. And it's funny because we also got a slight Miz burial.
Good, because you just get buried more and more and more.
Because what happened was Jericho said, that it's unfortunate that the Miz is unable to be the guest, but we have somebody at least of equal value, or I would say of better value,
Ouch.
because he's the world heavyweight champion, Alberto Del Rio. I enjoyed that.
Take that,
I
Miz.
enjoyed that. That's right. Better value than the Miz. Although
Take that, Miz.
when Generico said that, I couldn't narrow it down because everyone is more valuable than the Miz.
Yes.
So and I didn't know who he was talking about before.
You know, I'll even
He
take
said
it a
Alberto
step.
Del Rio.
Even the guys in the independents are better
Absolutely,
than Miz.
absolutely. So when he's about to introduce Alberto, the camera hadn't shown it, but Ricardo Rodriguez was by him at that time.
Okay.
He of course introduced him, and we also had a nice spot between the three of them, between Jericho, Del Rio, and Ricardo Rodriguez, where Rodriguez just went insane. Got a little Spanish from Chris Jericho, and then Ziggler comes out with Big E.
No
and
biggie.
It's no biggie.
No biggie.
With Big E, Langston, and AJ Lee. And basically, here's another bit that I forgot to tell you. Jericho mentioned Alberto Del Rio's legendary father, Dos Caras,
Okay.
and said, he's had nothing but respect for him, that Jericho actually started in Mexico, and that he has, he'll never forget what he's done for him, but that when he wins Elimination Chamber, he will take the title from Del Rio. Del Rio says it's not going to happen, and that's when Ziggler came out. And Rob caught this, and I didn't. It went over my head, but Rob caught something very important that Dolph Ziggler said. And Ziggler essentially said that he will be cashing in the Money in the Bank at some time before WrestleMania.
Interesting. And that's all I have to say.
That's essentially what Ziggler said.
And then he'll lose, and then all the smarts can cry.
And Jericho,
I would cry too.
That was a letdown for Rob. And I'm not sure if it's a letdown for me, though. It's more of, how would that work?
Well,
How would that work? Does that mean
Well, remember,
maybe that'll be the triple threat match at WrestleMania?
here's what I see. He could cash it at Chamber after Del Rio and Big Show.
Okay.
Now this is the sucky part about this. There's no stipulation,
All right.
which is why I think he should have done it at the Royal Rumble. And what was it, a last man standing match?
Yes, it was the last man standing.
Why not do it there? Alberto Del Rio's beaten up.
Right.
This is where WWE's not smart.
Not as beaten up as he could have been, because
Yes.
he was still cheering on Ricardo with the...
It was still. I can understand that, but that's when you want to cash in, not in the one-on-one match.
Mhm.
Unless Big Show beats him up at the end after he wins,
Which could happen in this one.
but that's typical.
But
That's the typical way to cash in Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
What was it? New Year's Revolution, after the Chamber match with Cena, Edge cashed it right away.
Yeah.
It's too predictable.
And it begs the question: has the Money in the Bank,
Predictable?
has it run its course? I mean, that appears to be the deal with everything now. Well, whenever someone wins the Money in the Bank, now at the end of every pay-per-view, everyone thinks, "Oh, they're gonna cash it in now."
Yeah.
Or whenever a champion gets beat down in, let's say, Raw or SmackDown.
I like Money in the Bank for a couple of reasons. It shows up-and-coming superstars that have potential to be heavyweight champion or WWE champion. It showed when Daniel Bryan cashed it, how he held the title. It was his first title run. I thought it was good, and it could have been better. I thought the 18-second match was garbage. So did everyone else did in Florida, who wanted their money back after that.
Unbelievable! I still can't believe it.
I know. But like I said, it's kind of cool that he agreed to do it.
Yeah.
But that just shows, that I'm gonna take the heat now, but later, hopefully something I'll get better in return, like maybe a WWE title run.
Right.
Which I think he needs right now. Because
he's got to get back in the title picture.
He's the Dazzler. You have to put the Dazzler in the title run. So, I think it's a great time to push him. Kane, I don't know what to do with. I'm sorry to say that.
No, I actually agree with that statement. I mean, at this point, he can still move in the ring. He's still good enough to have a match to have, let's say, a main event match. He's still that good. I just don't know where you would put him now.
I don't know.
Because the WWE keeps coming out with these monster characters like Mark Henry and all that stuff. All right, well, what do you do with Kane now? You know, you can't have too many monsters running around destroying things.
Well, all I know is he took a.
Well, we got sidetracked. So anyway, what happened was
sorry.
no, it's all right. Ziggler came out. He did make the announcement that he's doing the Money in the Bank before
Okay.
WrestleMania. Again, we don't know if he's being serious or if he's just trying to throw Del Rio off his game or something like that. It's a possibility. But then we have a match made between Ziggler. Oh, and Jericho also made fun of what the E could possibly stand for in Big E. Big elephant, big ears,
Big elephant.
There's a whole bunch of things
Big
there.
ears.
But
Or no biggie.
right.
It's
So
not
yeah,
biggie.
we did see Del Rio versus Ziggler, and it was a great match. Unbelievable. It was very, very good. And this is why I like Main Event, because you tend to not get these types of matches in
On
Raw
Raw or SmackDown.
or SmackDown, because they're more concerned with pushing storyline during those shows. And it's funny for me to say that here because Main Event, this edition of Main Event did more pushing storyline as well, because again, they kept reviewing Raw, kept going through the same motions. You know, if you didn't see Raw, they do a rebound, they show you the whole segment. And then Ziggler loses again.
Go figure.
Ziggler loses again.
When will he win a match?
I don't know. Well, the way he won, again, he had a great showing. I can't take that away from him.
Once again,
Ziggler always has a great showing.
But you can have a great showing, and then you lose the match. It's like, he had a great match, but he still lost. And you're pushing this guy to be world heavyweight champion. You know what I'm calling him now? The world. If he ever wins the title, the world's greatest champion.
Right.
The world's greatest champion. Because losing, I understand they've done this with Money in the Bank before.
Right.
The guy loses, lose again.
But again, like what Rob's comment was that the segment before the match itself was great.
Okay.
It wasn't the typical back and forth boos and cheers between the two talking. JBL on commentary, hilarious.
Of course, I love
As
JBL
always,
on commentary.
as always. And he had a line about AJ Lee licking a window. So, where that came from. But it was good.
Did she still have that stupid attire she had on
I
Monday?
don't understand what you have against that
I
attire.
hate that attire.
But no, she did not have that.
Thank God.
I think it would have stood out. I would have remembered that. But again, it was a good match, very good match. But from there, we just kept getting reviews of other stuff that happened. We got the Rock Punk ending from Monday Night Raw,
Okay.
and they also showed a bit from Shield's promo
Okay.
from Monday Night Raw. Interestingly enough, it was shortened a bit.
That's not shocking.
If you remember during Shield's promo, Dean Ambrose said something at the end where he got really intense.
And
right?
they cut that.
They cut that out.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they did that, but they showed the whole part where Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus show up in the dark and chase Shield away. And that's essentially how Main Event ended. The same way Raw ended with them. Well, actually, Raw ended with Punk Rock. But they ended Main Event with that segment.
Oh, yeah.
Which is too bad, I feel like they could have at least had one more match in there,
Yeah, right?
But, again, Main Event, kind of disappointing. It was just one match. Usually I like them. Last week we had 3 matches. But you just take it. Just wait for next week. And I figure it kind of makes sense because what they're trying to do is just build up for the next pay-per-view. So it makes sense that they will review a few storylines. I'm not going to hold that against them. But I just hope this doesn't happen again next week. And with regard to what you were saying about the Money in the Bank, I agree with other things. Like the storyline itself is dry already, but it does give a chance to other people to become. It gives the up-and-comer that step to become the World Heavyweight or WWE Champion.
I think there's no
It's
other
like
way.
an easy step, yeah.
Like I said, the only other way now is pinning John Cena. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe pinning Punk, or maybe pinning Sheamus or Ryback, but those are not your top guys. Your
Right.
top guy right now is Cena and The Rock. So, if Cesaro... okay, I'm just going out on a limb here. Cesaro pinning Rock, Cesaro's on top of the world.
Can you imagine?
You know, Daniel Bryan pinning The Rock. Daniel Bryan's on top of the world. Daniel Bryan pinning Cena. You know, any of those guys, they're the new top dog.
Yeah.
They're the new face in the company.
Or at least they're the new rival for John Cena.
Yes, which is why I want Antonio Cesaro to drop the U.S. title, and I'd like to see him in Money in the Bank. Because I've seen him in ladder matches. He's really good.
Okay.
He's really good. So is Cassisono, but Cassisono, I keep hearing they're going to wait till after WrestleMania to debut him.
Okay.
Which is fine with me, and I can't wait to see him debut.
We also got a Fandango promo.
Fine, die, go.
I cannot wait. He's going to be awesome.
Next heavyweight champion of the world.
Yes, he's going to debut. He's going to win the Money in the Bank.
Speaking of him,
Of who?
Mr. Rob sent me a list yesterday.
Oh, I think I know which list you're referring to.
They put him as a behemoth.
Yeah.
Scott Steiner.
Apparently, it was a list of the 50
What?
something behemoths in wrestling,
What?
and one of them was Scott Steiner.
Are you kidding me? This is a joke.
It's pretty funny.
I think he hacked it.
I think he should be number one.
I think you're a damn fool.
Scott Steiner's ability to cut a promo is unrivaled, and his matches.
I'm starting to think Rob hacked the blanketyblank.com and
Typed it in himself.
himself. Because that's a joke. How he's 35, I have no idea. I have a top 40 or 50 or whatever it was. Behemoths are Kane, Undertaker, Mark Henry, Yokozuna,
Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Those are behemoths. Scott Steiner, are you kidding me?
Huh?
Huh?
Well, no, I guess I can sort of understand it because of the size.
What, he has muscles on his muscles on his muscles? Is that it?
It could be. It could be. It just... I kind of want to take a look at this list now and see who he beat out. And
Actually, I'll get the list for you right now. Give me a second.
And I remember a couple days ago we actually talked about Scott Steiner, and...
Well, what a coinky-dink. He brings him up again.
Right.
Give me a second, because this was actually, this wasn't even planned out.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see who they consider Scott Steiner being better as, in terms of being a behemoth.
Alright,
This should be good.
It was the top 50. Alright, so Scott Steiner was number 35, but we're going to go all the way to 50. Rikishi's number 50.
So Scott Steiner beat out Rikishi?
Yes.
Okay.
Umaga.
49 Umaga.
King Mabel.
King Mabel, so I'm assuming King Mabel includes Viscera, Big Daddy V.
Yes.
Okay.
King Kong Bundy.
Alright.
Bastion Booger, okay, he should have been 50. The natural disasters, earthquake and typhoon, okay. Bam Bam Bigelow, as we just said.
Right.
The Big Show.
Wow, Steiner beat out the Big Show.
Yeah, what's going on? The Big John Stud.
Who's
Eli Cottonwood.
Eli Cottonwood is on this list. This list is
This is horrible.
This list is automatically irrelevant. It no longer exists.
This list is Giant Gonzalez. He beat out.
The funny thing is, I'm not even a Big Show fan, like a Mark or anything. Like he's there. He does what he does.
But come on.
But
Scott Steiner.
If the list
Big Show?
is biggest behemoths.
I know.
It's not even like powerhouses or anything. It's biggest behemoths.
I know.
I don't get.
Even the Great Khali.
The Great Khali is ahead of the Big Show.
And then 35.
And then Scott Steiner is ahead of the Great Khali. That's pretty awesome. And Kane is number 34.
You want me to just burn this list?
Just don't even go on. Really, don't. Why are you going on?
Because you want to see who 29 and 31 is?
The Yeti! The Yeti!
They put the Yeti before the Big Show.
Before the Big Show, before the Big Red Machine, before Bam Bam Bigelow.
Nathan Jones is even on the list.
And he's ahead of all these people.
I don't know what to say.
It's this is one of the most pathetic lists
Morgan.
I think I've ever seen.
Ezekiel
Jackson is at number 21.
Mark Henry's 20. Billy Graham, okay. Brock Lesnar, okay.
Goldberg at 17.
Why is she on the list?
Chyna's on the list at number 16.
Triple H is on the list.
Triple H is a biggest behemoth.
Yes. This is a joke.
Why are we looking at this?
That's a behemoth.
Yes, Awesome Kong / Karma is a behemoth. No doubt about that.
Hey, Batista too.
Mason Ryan is considered a bigger behemoth
Yes.
than... Okay.
At least they got some of this one right, at least.
Right.
Ultimate Warrior. Nash.
Alright.
Don't know who he is.
This is still the stupidest list I've ever seen.
This is horrible.
Dusty Rhodes? Really?
Hulk Hogan?
Well, I figured if they were going to put Triple H, then
Might as
Hogan
well
was
put
going to be...
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan's going to be there.
Vader. Taker. Yoko.
Okay, let's try and guess who would beat everybody out. Who would be the biggest behemoth? Oh, well, Andre the Giant.
Aha.
Andre the Giant would be number one, right? Correct?
And
Am I
our
right?
number one is?
Andre the Giant. You know, their top 3, not bad. Their top 50,
Horrible.
that doesn't even cover it.
I think they have to switch a lot of those around.
They have to get some.
That's
off the
what
list.
they have to do. This is a horrible list. Horrible.
This is.
And this is from the blankety blank report. So you guys figure out the first word, and you got it. So what a terrible list. Like I said, these writers are garbage. Whoever writes for these blankety report,
Right.
you know, it's garbage. Also, you smell something?
What the Rock is cooking.
No, love is in the air. And since it's Valentine's Day, we had some of the oddest, most weirdest relationships in WWE.
Mhm.
And one of them, the Great Khali and Natalya Neidhart.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to understand where that came from. All of a sudden, they just started coming to the ring together with
And dancing.
Hornswoggle. I don't know.
No comment?
It's just very random. They just don't know what to do with Neidhart and Khali. They just put him out there for his
Yeah,
size.
that's pretty much it. ODB and Eric Young.
Yeah. ODB just
Yeah.
threw up in my mouth a bit. I'm sorry. I just, I mean, her herself, okay, fine. But then when she wears those, like anything revealing,
Oh, God.
it makes me want to die.
Oh God. Oh God, Jack Bully. Oh God, check ODB. Oh God, check Eric Young. Okay, I don't know why this is on this list, and this is why I hate this list. Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
Well, why is that odd?
No, it's not odd.
Yeah, why?
It became actually
Some of the
became
oddest
real life.
couples in wrestling history. Why is that considered odd?
I don't know. Next, Edge and Vicky Guerrero.
That was odd.
That was very odd.
That I'll give.
That was horrible. That's when Vicky was fat. That was fat Vicky.
Yeah.
That was humongous Vicky.
And she loses all the weight, and they still call her fat.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't get it.
Be a star.
You're a bully.
Definitely, you gotta have the Kane and Lita.
Skip.
Kane and Lita will be on there at some point.
AJ Lee and blankety blank 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 blank.
Well, because she's had a list already of people she's been with.
Daniel Bryan, Punk, Kane, Ziggler.
John Cena also. Allegedly.
Allegedly John Cena.
Allegedly John Cena.
That's a lot of guys for, 1 year.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Who's next?
Let's take a guess here. I say... Let's see. I don't know. Jack Swagger. No, he already has a manager.
He has a manager already.
Oh boy. Well, nobody likes The Miz, so not The Miz.
Nobody beats The Miz.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Whatever happens, happens. Maybe she'll finally just get to wrestle after this.
That'd be nice.
So.
I was thinking The Rock.
I don't know. I don't know if they would put somebody with The Rock because they run the risk of someone taking away from his
No, that
presence,
too.
but-
I was thinking of The Rock just because if Cena does go down, maybe try to screw Cena, you know?
That makes sense.
Since they had something going there, but who knows? You know, maybe you're right. Maybe they'll let her go and wrestle like she should be.
Mhm.
Kevin and Nancy Sullivan.
Moving on.
Moving on. Sherry Martel and Shawn Michaels.
Was that odd, really, or did?
Well, the theme song was odd.
Oh yes, the one where Sherry Martel was singing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was very.
That was good God. But it clicked for a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
Don't know who they are. That's an odd one. Tajiri and Tori Wilson.
That is.
God.
Tajiri and Tori Wilson. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. I really don't. Yeah, moving on. Molly Holly and Spike Dudley.
Again, was this when she wasn't Mighty Molly at this point?
No.
Was she? I'm not sure. That's a tough one.
I agree. Next. Okay. Mark Henry and Mae Young.
Oh, right.
Do we have to enough?
Is this the hand?
Yes.
All right. This
This is when Mark Henry was sexual chocolate.
Sexual chocolate.
Any comment?
I really don't even know what to say about that. I try not to acknowledge this existed at any point.
It's kind of hard not to because you know what happened.
Yeah, I'm surprised this is number one.
I don't have a comment because after what they did,
It's just funny to see Mark Henry then and see him now.
I know. Look
No.
at that happy-go-lucky something guy.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
I totally forgot about that. Billy and Chuck.
Oh God. My
Billy
eyes
and
are burnt.
Yeah, this was definitely.
This was after DX,
Yeah.
and
I think this was just one of those things where WWE was trying to get their name out for shock value and stuff like that.
good God.
And I don't know how much that worked.
I have nothing to say. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I mean, you go from the New Age Outlaws to Billy and Chuck,
Yeah.
who were gonna get married at some point during SmackDown.
So odd. That is very odd. Yeah. Was Kane and Lita on this list?
No.
No. Why would they put Macho Man on Elizabeth and not Kane and Lita?
I don't write for these people, which we really should because we're better writers, or better talkers. But the people who write this crap on here, they know nothing about wrestling. And now I'm gonna. If anyone comments, "Oh, you guys know nothing about wrestling," well, we're just saying our opinion, you know. And I think our opinions have been pretty dead on so far.
Right.
You know, and like I said, we're smarks, but we laugh at other smarks because. Look how they act. Look at the way they act.
Mhm.
You know, Mr. Fat Kid throwing a title because CM Punk lost.
Ah, yes.
You know, it's like, come on, dude. I mean, like, come on,
so
man.
he wins with the people's elbow?
He wins with the people's elbow. I wonder what happens when he loses again.
Same thing about you, Rocky. Like, it is gonna be. He has to have a follow-up video.
I think so.
He has to have a video of what's gonna happen should Punk lose this time, or if he wins. You know, maybe we'll see him happy this time.
Yay, Punk wins! Still throw stuff. This is like you, Rocky. Oh God, I have nothing to say. Speaking of, there's actually been, I guess, cool. I mean, we have the Elimination Chamber Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad segue into this, but I always want to talk about like the top, cage matches and stuff like that, and cool variations of the cage match. And you want to know what War Games was? This is War Games, which now you're gonna say they should do it.
All right.
That's War Games.
Let's see. War Games. Okay. This was in WCW.
WCW.
All right.
What it is? It's double steel cage with 2 rings, and there's a crease where you can go to the other ring or the other way. Like, you can go back and forth.
All right.
So, what do you think? Should they bring it back?
War games, it definitely would be something new, but you would have to have the two rings next to each other, right?
Yep.
Oh boy, that would be definitely interesting to see. Haven't seen that in a long time. Now this was what some people were pitching for. This is what people wanted for the Shield versus Sheamus, Cena, and Ryback match.
Yeah.
All right.
But in the Elimination Chamber, that kind of style. They'd start in the chambers, and they get, same thing, the clock rolls down, one comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But the way you win, either your team quits or something like that. I know your team has to quit.
Yeah.
It's not by pinfall or submission. I mean, maybe back then it was, but I know when I rewatched one where it was the Horsemen against the NWO.
If that's the case, so you had to quit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, then that would bury Shield even harder. Because essentially the way that the Big Three would win the match is by Shield, one of the Shield members saying they quit.
Yeah.
And that would probably even be worse for them.
Yeah,
because now, Shield just said they quit,
Which I think it'd be kind of cool if they brought it back.
But the reason I think they don't want to do that is because they don't want to take away from the match itself.
I know.
They don't want to take away from Cena, Ryback, and Sheamus. And they don't. I don't think they care that much about the Shield because they haven't really done anything with them. They just came out, started attacking, and now, numbers game is it's not in their favor anymore. So unless they churn out more members somehow,
All right. Next, I'm gonna skip because you're gonna laugh in 2 seconds. Are you ready?
Okay.
Get ready to laugh.
The Punjabi prison.
Skip. Chambers. Like I said, it's a cool structure.
It is. Triple cage match.
Skip.
Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Well, with regard to the Hell in a Cell, Elimination Chamber, we did actually go back and watch a couple matches from the past.
Yep.
All right. The first ever Elimination Chamber match. Brilliant.
I love it.
Brilliant.
Except for
the ending. I didn't like the ending.
No, not because of that.
No, if you liked it, that's okay.
Here was my problems with it. Shawn Michaels and his stupid hair. He looked like a girl.
He looked pretty.
And his poopy pants.
I thought it was black when I first looked, and it did seem to be brown.
It's brown poopy pants. I can't say the S word on air, so
I'm not gonna call it that, but
I'm gonna call it poopy pants because
I was talking
they were poopy brown.
In regards to the match itself.
Oh, the match itself, it's great. It's just Sean.
That whole pay-per-view actually was great. The card is awesome, and considering the Undertaker was nowhere on it, it was pretty good.
I do have to say, come on, man, with those pants.
It was his first time in wrestling attire in how many years?
Good God. Brown poopy pants. Good God.
All right. But it was a great match.
It was.
Competitors being Chris Jericho, Booker T, Kane, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Rob Van Dam. Looking at this match, because I didn't see it when it happened. At that point, I hadn't been watching wrestling. Had a few other things going on.
You gave up too? Did you give up that hope?
No, it wasn't the hope. It was just I had some other things going on where I wasn't watching wrestling, but I went back and I watched this match, the whole pay-per-view. And I checked out the Chamber match, and I thought it was great. I didn't know what storylines led into it.
Okay.
All I knew was that every single competitor in that match was top-notch.
Okay.
Kane had a great showing, and the way he was eliminated was everyone did their finishers on him.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
That's a way to eliminate somebody, but also give him credit, make him look strong. And it came down between, surprise, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Surprise.
Again, I don't hate either of these two guys. I don't mind. They put on some great matches, including this one, But when I first saw it, I thought it was a great ending. But then when I started looking into what storylines were leading into it, and I realized RVD, Y2J, Kane, and Booker T never really had a chance.
True.
They were just there to fill in space It's always about Triple H and Shawn Michaels, so obviously it came down between them.
Okay.
The next one we checked out was there's one match with Kozlov was in it. I believe who were the competitors? Vladimir Kozlov, The Big Show. Was Edge in this one? Edge was in it. He was the first one eliminated. Jeff Hardy, Mike Knox.
Oh God.
I feel like I'm mixing this up, but nothing to see here. This wasn't a big Elimination Chamber match. Triple H beat The Undertaker cleanly, I think, in this one. Was it this one?
Triple H, yeah, Triple H beat him cleanly with the pedigree.
Right. So,
yay!
You know, whatever. Just those two guys going at it.
Come on, let's get to our favorite one.
Our favorite one, the greatest Elimination Chamber match of all time.
Yuck.
The December to Dismember Extreme Elimination Chamber match. This match was so good that they only needed one other match on the pay-per-view. Because this pay-per-view only had 2 matches on it.
According to the DVD cover.
According to the DVD cover.
They have the Hardys and Eminem, or the Hardys versus Eminem, Joe Mercury, and Johnny Nitro, with Melina, and the Elimination Chamber match on the back of the DVD.
Right.
Not knowing there's Balls Mahoney versus Matt Striker, Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkay.
I remember him. He was a big dude.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a big guy.
Oh wow, he was.
And apparently he was, I believe at one point, this is probably for storyline's sake, but they said that he had wrestled Kurt Angle in the past.
Okay.
So, yeah, I liked his look. He was a big dude. Big dude. And I don't know
what? You know what's funny though? Mm-hmm. They gave the Hardys and Eminem 22 minutes, the Elimination Chamber 24 minutes. Ready for the other matches? Balls Mahoney versus Matt Striker 7 minutes. Elijah Burke and Sylvester Turkay, whatever.
It's Turkay.
Turkey. We call him Turkey.
My goodness.
Versus the fully bloody Italians.
The what? The bloody?
Full-blooded Italians. You had me laughing. I'm sorry. 6 minutes. Davari versus Tommy Dreamer.
Well, I'm interested to see why the DVD that we saw.
I know, I had 2 matches
only had 2 matches on it.
I know. And Kevin Thorne with Ariel defeated Mike Knox with Kelly.
Right.
And a 7-minute match.
And I believe Rob told me this is the one where Mike Knox makes Kelly cry or something.
That's kind of funny.
All right. Well, back to the Elimination Chamber itself. Bobby Lashley, Big Show, Rob Van Dam, Hardcore Holly, CM Punk, and Test.
Oh, God.
It was something else. This match was... really, I don't even know how to describe it.
Which was the one with Kozlov?
That was...
It was horrible. That was the Taker one, right?
That was the one Triple H won.
Okay. But that's when we first noticed that Kozlov, not that good.
Yeah, that's what Rob said. You know, he was one of the few people who consistently defended Vladimir Kozlov, and this is the match that just made him stop.
Well, Kozlov, you're missing. You're missing the elbows, man. What are you doing?
But, yeah, this match was, it started off okay. Nothing special. We saw a bunch of repeated spots from past Elimination Chamber matches from Rob Van Dam. I don't know if it's just lack of originality or if they just feel comfortable doing that. But, you know, you want to see something new. Not the same spot. Because in the original one, RVD leaped towards the chains, caught it, and then jumped off again. He did that in this one too.
Okay.
It worked in the first one, it didn't work this time, but, you know, repeated spot. Another repeated spot was Rob Van Dam going up for a 5-star on the top of the pod. Gave Big Show the finger. And then when he tried to get on top of that pod, Big Show pulled his leg.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Why would you do that?
This was repeated from the first one again.
I know.
In the first one, Rob Van Dam gave Jericho the finger. And then Jericho pulled his leg in when he tried to get on top of that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just a lack of originality in all these, in this chamber match, I should say. Although there was a pretty cool spot where Test took a chair, placed it on RVD, and gave him a pretty sweet elbow from the top of the pod. I did notice that Rob Van Dam might have been the only one bleeding in this match.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And I can't remember if Big Show was busted open at any point.
Okay.
I kind of want to say that he was, but not like a lot. This was just it was a subpar Elimination Chamber match, And when you put extreme in front of anything, you figure it's going to be that much better.
Yeah.
It wasn't. The first three eliminated were CM Punk, Hardcore Holly, and RVD. Not necessarily in that order, but then after that, what do you have? Bobby Lashley, Test, and Big Show.
Okay.
It's funny because it seemed like the logic for that was, let's get rid of all the faces so everyone has to cheer for Bobby Lashley. And then you have this ridiculous spot where they try to lock in Lashley in his pod so that he can't get out and compete in the Elimination Chamber match. And then Lashley takes the table that was in there with him and busts out from the top.
No, you're right.
In superhero fashion. But again, it makes you wonder, like, do they not... What would have happened if Lashley couldn't get out? Did Big Show and Test just, like, have a party in the Elimination Chamber match? Like, have some tea in the middle of the ring, I guess.
I guess so.
I don't know. But,
I guess so. But,
pretty terrible.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, man, that's one of the worst. Nothing really, like I said, same spots as usual. The RVD thing, same spot. What he did with Chris Jericho.
The only spot
I want to see this year's elimination. I want to see something different. A different spot, different something.
Is this... No, Daniel Bryan's been in an Elimination Chamber before.
Just give us something different. That's all I ask for. Something different, not the same moves, not the same this, not the same that. Just...
Thinking of the competitors, I just don't see anything new happening. If you look at the competitors in the match, nobody really brings anything new.
You're right.
Except, Daniel Bryan, for all we know, maybe he does something new in this one. Because he's only been in one other one, right?
Yep.
Maybe he'll figure out a new spot, but as of right now, I don't see any possibility of a new spot. I really don't.
All right.
And this, I really don't know what else to say about that.
That's the way. Like I said, just something new. It'd be nice to, like a cool new spot. In the
I guess
chamber.
maybe one. Has Mark Henry ever done a World's Strongest Slam on the outside? He probably has, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and then you can have the bottom break or whatever. I don't know. I guess that would be a new spot, but probably won't happen.
Just a quick note on baseball. First spring training game for the Mets, February 23rd. It's a Saturday. We're getting closer to baseball season, man.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
You wanna give a preview of your Yankees this year?
No, it's not a big preview, but I want to make note of something that Joe Girardi said not so long ago. It might have been yesterday or the day before, actually. He said something along the lines of he's very confident in this team. He thinks they can win 90-something games and win the World Series.
Huh?
Well, look, it's not a bad team, but he did make note of something that I thought was pretty interesting. He said that if the Yankees are going to win, that he said they shouldn't be called the Bronx Bombers because we really don't have those big home run hitters anymore.
No.
We don't.
It's
funny because...
You still have the whole thing with A-Rod and...
Yeah, A-Rod's probably gone. I don't see him playing this year. We do still have Mark Teixeira. Yeah, if he's not like grounding out, I guess he's hitting a home run. But he only...
You think he can average you think he can hit 25 to 30 home runs this year?
25 I could see. 25 I can see. And it's a shame too because Mark Teixeira has those short porches.
What about Cano?
Cano, I didn't like what I saw from Cano last year. I didn't like it. During the season he looks great, but then every now and then he just seems to, I don't want to say not care, but he seems almost, and I really don't want to say this because again, I love Cano. I love what he brings to the table. I think he's the best hitter on the Yankees by far. But there are just some moments where he seems like lazy.
Okay, I
can understand
why.
He'll still hit the ball, and he'll still admire it.
Oh, look at that!
He'll still do
it's
that.
Still going.
And then it bounces, and he got a single. When you would have had something good if you ran out of the box immediately. But with regard again to what Joe Girardi said, I agree with him.
Well,
I agree that they don't have many home runs.
His regular season, he batted .313,
Mm-hmm.
94 RBIs, 33 home runs.
Right.
He had a good.
He always has a good regular. Well, in the past few years, he's had a good regular season.
Could he have another 30 home run year?
But did you see him? Absolutely. But did you see him during the postseason?
No,
last year?
postseason. This is with postseason.
And it's funny because last year
Batted below 100, 75. Didn't even crack 100. Walked once, 4 RBIs, 2 doubles, 3 hits, 1 run scored.
and no home runs.
Excuse me, out of 40 at bats. So
He was abysmal.
yeah,
He was absolutely terrible, and that's what I'm saying. He looked almost lazy because, I mean, at some points it looked like he really wasn't even trying. And I didn't get it because everyone blames A-Rod. A-Rod, he's striking out. He's not doing his job. Well, what about Cano?
No, you're right.
He's the one who's in his prime. He's the one in the middle of that batting order. At the time, I think he was batting cleanup. He's not doing anything.
No, he's not.
So that was my main gripe with everything. You're blaming everything on A-Rod. Well, what about these other guys?
You're right.
A lot of guys had a terrible postseason last year.
Oh, I got the postseason. Actually, since you just brought up the postseason.
Oh, this should be good.
Derek Jeter, 27 at bats.
Before he got injured.
4 runs, 9 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 2 RBIs. Wasn't too bad.
He was having a
Batting average .333.
He was having a fairly good postseason.
Raul Ibanez, 22 at bats.
Had
3 runs
those
in.
memorable home runs.
Yes, he had 3.
Yeah.
3 home runs. Teixeira, I think he was the other one who had an iffy postseason. 281. Ichiro, 275. Swisherlicious.
Yeah, right.
167.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
Yeah, and here's
that
the
actually
big,
might be high for Nick Swisher.
And here's the big one, Mr. A-Rod. You want to talk about bad? This is horrendous. Batted 120.
Mm-hmm.
No home runs. 25 at bats. 1 run scored.
Okay.
Out of 3 hits.
And you want to know the sad part? Still better than Robinson.
Yeah, I know.
Still better than those numbers that you just read from me from A-Rod, which are pathetic. Still better than Robinson Cano's postseason numbers.
I know,
of that year.
and
for that matter, Curtis Granderson.
It's Curtis. Batted 100, struck out 16 times, 3 walks, 1 RBI, 1 home run, 3 hits.
This is just painful.
I'm just gonna get even worse in a second. We just talked about Cano, batted 75. That's 6 strikeouts. I don't know what to say to that. And as everyone wants to call him, the Grandy Man. The Grandy Man.
You know, he's Grandy at being a center fielder. Makes some of the most
I'll give him more credit as due.
Unbelievable plays in the outfield.
He is a good center fielder.
And when he's on, he's on. He's like, oh my gosh, his
Now,
homers go miles. But last season in the postseason, he didn't do anything.
Obviously, you have the lineup. Obviously, Ichiro should be batting first.
Yeah.
As look where it stands. Derek Jeter second, which would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm just going by what do you do with Curtis? You bat him second, maybe bat Jeter third.
With who?
Curtis Granderson.
Curtis Granderson, maybe lower on the list. It's going to be very interesting to see the batting order for next year.
It is. Like I said, you're minusing A-Rod out of the picture.
Yeah, Kevin Youkilis might be third for all we know.
That's true.
He did well in Boston.
I think
and he always does really well at Yankee Stadium too. He loves that short porch.
Of course. I think you have to put Teixeira 4th or 5th. You need a slugger.
Yeah.
From there and that point, you got.
One thing I'm worried about though is it seems Kevin Youkilis has altered his batting stance.
Okay.
That worries me because I don't think he needs to change anything. I think he was a great hitter as it is, and worries me a bit because I hope he gets used to this new batting stance quickly.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I hope, because his other one was pretty entertaining to see. But yeah, I hope this doesn't take away from his hitting.
And from there on down, you got Swisher, Red Bull, Raul Ibanez. Who else is in your outfield?
Ichiro?
Ichiro. Well, we already have him batting one anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, Brett Gardner. Brett Gardner's another one.
Okay. Still looking down the
The thing with Brett Gardner, though, is that he has to stay healthy.
What about Andrew Jones?
Andrew Jones, do we still have him?
I thought he retired.
I don't think so. I think we might have he might have gone somewhere else. But again, he's not. Well, I don't want to say he's not a good outfielder because he did make some really good plays last year as well. But
speaking of Andrew Jones, he was arrested.
Why do you think that's funny?
It was 50 days ago. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's the news I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's obviously ex-MLB, so I guess they don't have him.
Yeah.
But he's actually playing in Japan.
Okay.
So Andrew Jones is on his way to Japan.
They're gonna leave him in the dust. I don't know how he's gonna compete with them.
As for your pitching staff, like I said, the top 5 looks good.
Yeah.
But from bottom down, it's I think going to be a little rough.
It will be.
What do you do with catcher wise?
I'm thinking about that too. I mean, it looked. I would go Cervelli, Francisco Cervelli.
And who's your backup?
I can't.
Is it Chris Stewart?
It might be Chris Stewart.
Okay.
Or it might just go Chris Stewart.
Yeah, I keep hearing he's supposed to be. He might be the starter as well.
Yeah.
I keep hearing.
And he might get the edge now because of not necessarily saying Cervelli did PEDs, but with his name being linked to it, they could go with Stewart. So.
No, you got a point. So that's pretty much your batting order from top. You got top 5 down. Yeah. It's just trying to figure out the rest of the spots.
Yeah.
Plus DH. Remember, Eulis can play every day, but he can also DH.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which wouldn't be a bad idea. But you lose, like I said, you lose out on A-Rod, which I think is not a big hurt to the team.
Right.
But it hurts you in a way like, okay, you can bat A-Rod 3rd, A-Rod 4th, or Teixeira 5th.
Yeah.
And then work your way down. Have Ichiro, Grandy Man, Jeter, Teixeira, A-Rod, or switch them,
Mm-hmm.
But, that's what the fielding, obviously someone's going to have to replace. Wow, that was loud. It'd be kind of funny if it got on there.
I don't think it will.
Should Teixeira playing first. I guess Eulis is going to be playing 3rd.
Yeah.
Jeter short, Cano 2nd. Pitching we'll get to in a second. Catching Stewart. Center field Grandy Man. Raul
Ibanez, and then Ichiro Suzuki.
I can't stand him, his stupid pineapple head.
Well, you would hate him. You would hate him.
I would. He kills the Mets.
With his days in Philadelphia.
He killed me in Philly. And then Ichiro and left.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way your field is looking?
Again, I don't see... our batting order isn't bad. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
I do like the addition of Kevin Youkilis. I do hope that most of these guys can stay healthy, though, because I do think our bench is thin.
Okay.
So...
Let's get to your starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you guys just signed Rafael Soriano, which is an okay pickup, in my opinion. Obviously, CC will be starting.
Of course.
Who's second to CC?
It would probably be Andy Pettitte.
Really?
Hey, I'm not saying
80-year-old Andy Pettitte.
Look, Phil Hughes, he's not always trustworthy.
Okay.
He'll have his good days. He'll have his very bad days.
What do you do with Kuroda?
Hiroki Kuroda? Well, you got to start him. I mean, he had a decent year last year.
He did.
He really did.
He did.
Well, maybe Andy Pettitte shouldn't be. Maybe Kuroda should be number 2.
Okay.
Pettitte could be 3rd. Ivan Nova last year. Firing on all cylinders, and then all of a sudden, it just falls apart.
That's a nice 5.2 ERA I'm looking at.
Man, I mean... and it's a shame, though, because he was, the year before, he was probably our most dependable.
Okay. No, you're right.
So-
You're right. Still huge.
Again, he's day and night, hot and cold. But yeah, we essentially have the same pitching rotation from last year, I guess.
Is it good enough to make the playoffs?
It's good enough to make the playoffs, not deep. I mean, look what the Tigers did to the Yankees last year.
Yeah,
It wasn't pretty.
they got a blank whooping.
Hey, and everyone saw it coming. I saw it coming.
I think a lot of Yankee fans saw it coming, but you know how Yankee fans are.
No, it's not necessarily that we're blind. It's we have hope. We have hope that our team will be able to turn it on in the postseason, and that year they just didn't.
As you look at the East, you have Baltimore, who's on the horizon. Blue Jays, I think, a little setback last year.
But they got some big acquisitions.
They
This
They
offseason, the Blue Jays got some serious
I know.
talent. Very
I
impressive.
know.
And it's funny because the past few years, I'll usually think, hey, maybe the Blue Jays can pull it off this year. And they don't. Last place,
Yep.
fourth place, whatever. But these acquisitions they made, including Jose Reyes.
Here's the thing. He had a bad year last year, just like I called it. I called he's going to have an awful year in Florida. What happens? He's terrible. Now,
Florida in general just had a terrible year. And it's funny because
and they had all these big names.
all these big names, new uniforms, new stadium, and they invested so much into this 1 year for Florida, for the Miami Marlins, I should say, and it was a disaster.
I would agree.
Just a complete disaster.
I would agree.
It's a huge setback for baseball in Florida.
It has. So like I said, AL East. It should be a decent.
It's going to be a very good
run.
race. It's going to be a very interesting race. I can't wait for it, actually.
Who is the dark horse in that division of the AL East?
In the AL East, again, I would say it would be the Blue Jays, because I
You're
think
right.
the Yankees they're always going to be up there. When they
Of
have a
course.
good team, they'll be up there. The Blue Jays, I mean not the Blue Jays, the Orioles are still up there, very good talent wise. Who else is in there?
And
The Rays are still talented.
I completely forgot Toronto picked up R.A. Dickey.
Yeah.
But I think he'll have a bad year up there.
He might. I wouldn't be surprised.
Because normally after you get Cy Young victory and, you know, the Mets trade him for good prospects.
Yeah, and let's not forget him moving to the AL.
Yes. Different ball game now.
Going from the National League to the American League is always a pretty big change. Usually when an American League pitcher moves over to the National League, they dominate for a while. But when a National Leaguer goes to the AL, it doesn't look so pretty.
No, it doesn't.
And maybe I'm speaking from experience whenever I see the Yankees pick up a big National League name to be a pitcher, and they stink up the joint. Randy Johnson, I mean, come on. Is there a better example out there? Carl Pavano, Jared Wright, although I don't know if he was even good to begin with, really. But too many times, you know, you have these NL pitchers come over, all the potential in the world, and they just they don't have it in the American League.
Okay. I am gonna do my Met talk for. I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of holding on it because there's not much to say right now, and a lot of people are complaining about them not signing Michael Bourne, how they lost out on it. Here's my take on it. He's not worth that much money.
Right.
The Cleveland signed him for 4 years, $48 million.
Okay.
He's an average day outfielder who can hit and not hit. He's on and off. So, do you really want to spend $48 million on a guy who's on and off? Even though the Mets don't have an outfield right now,
Yeah.
they do not. But I have faith in Neuenhuis. You know, it was his first year up in the last year. Give the guy a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's breaking it. Just like wrestling, he's breaking into the business. He's breaking in the outfield business. You know, his first year in the major leagues. Give the guy a break.
Right.
Next, you got Duda. You know, most likely putting him in right or left. I think left field's going to be hard, you know, since they got rid of Jason Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Hallelujah. going around third base, David Wright. Ike playing first. Short. Either give me a second. Lost my train of thought for a second. Take it away real quick.
Well, with regard to the Mets,
It hurts.
it was terrible because I think they started off pretty well last year.
Don't get me started.
What was it, 3-0?
Don't get me started.
3-0. Again, I mean, it's not like I was predicting the Subway Series after 3-0. It's still very early in the season, but it is sad to see what they've become, and I was really excited for them. They were opening their stadium
there
up
we
too,
go.
and I really do hope they get it together because I do want to see Citi Field sell out. Again.
I'd love it.
And
to
at this
sell
point,
out
the
again.
only sellout will probably be the Subway Series games and the All-Star game.
Right now, Daniel Murphy playing second, or Turner. It may go back and forth. Tejada playing short. Davis at first. Catching will probably be John Buck to start off. But don't be shocked if Arad, whatever his name is called, he's got a funky last name, but he will be our catcher within the next month or two. So he'll stay. I think he'll stay down. But if he shows that he can be a player in spring training, I'd start him. Forget John Buck. He could be a backup.
Okay.
This is your future. You got rid of R.A. Dickey for this guy. We haven't had a catcher for God knows how long. You have one. Time to test it out.
Right.
This is the future. Future of the Mets is a catcher, and their pitching is going to take at least 1 or 2 more years. Because their pitching, what they have in the minors, is looking very sweet right now. Between Zach Wheeler, Matt Harvey, the other guy they got from Toronto, which he's like 4 years away.
Right.
So I'm not going to mention him yet. But as for the rotation, Santana, Harvey, Neese, G, possibly Mejia, or possibly Wheeler if they really want to test him, but I think it's a little too early. I'd give him, if the Mets are out of it early, bring him up in the second half of the season and see what you have. I wouldn't test him in the bullpen. A lot of MLB teams like to try it. I was listening to Blanky You Blank in the morning or in the afternoon, and the Dodgers are one team that like to bring up players, test them out in the bullpen, then try it, then they start in the bullpen, then they get, continuously get better, and then obviously they get the starting job.
Okay.
I don't believe in that. Some teams do, some teams don't. I don't believe it. I think what happened to Mejia, they started him in the bullpen. What happened? Got injured. I don't like that. I mean, what's your take on it?
You mean in terms of
Young pitchers going into the bullpen, but they're starters.
and then you try and work them into being a starter?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I saw this with Yankees and Jobber Chamberlain.
That's a good one. I completely forgot
And
about him.
it hasn't turned out well at all. Probably the worst handled growth process I've seen in recent years. He started off in the bullpen, was dominant.
Yeah.
He was dominant in the bullpen. I saw this guy and I was like, our future is good. We got a good future. He's in the bullpen there. Any lead we have is safe. Obviously, things happen, with the Nats and everything. So he had an off day there, which is a pretty bad day to have an off day. But then they started trying to get him into the starter role. He did have a few good starts.
Okay.
I do remember one particular instant where he outdueled Josh Beckett in Boston, in Fenway, to a 1-0 victory. And he pitched most of the game, really. I think he pitched 7 innings. Just amazing job. But overall, Chamberlain as a starter has not been very good at all.
Yeah.
And now they try to put him back in the bullpen, and he's also not as good as he once was.
Okay.
Now, you could say that that's because they screwed up his development, or because it was he's injury prone, because he has gotten injured quite a bit since then. He's just not what he once was, and what he once was dominant. And this wasn't too long ago. This was like 2007.
Sad but true.
And and anytime they try to do that with a starter now, I'm very weary of what could possibly happen. I do understand your position on that. You think it's a bad move, and that they shouldn't do it.
Also, I forgot to add. They signed Sean Markham. That'll be the other starter, unfortunately. They've signed questionable, like LaTroy Hawkins. He's 40.
And
I mean, might as well just sign a 50-year-old because we're signing all 40-year-olds. Corey Patterson, outfield. They re-signed Pedro Feliciano, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah, a lot of good he did for the Yankees, right? We signed him to be the left-handed guy. He gets injured. He didn't even pitch a game.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry about that.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's the Yankees. Not even
Not one game. Are all the numbers zeros?
Close to it.
Pretty much, right?
He was in the minors though for them.
Oh yeah, because that helps out a lot.
Yeah, he was in their Yankee minor league. I'm so sorry about that.
Go home, Pedro. Go home. And he did. He went back to the Mets.
He went back to the
Mets.
Mets.
His home. So.
Which is his home. But I don't like him one bit.
Bad experiences?
Not bad experiences, just I've never been a fan of him.
Okay.
He's been just that, that one, he'll pitch one good inning, and then the next day he'll give up 5 hits.
Okay.
That's not...
Inconsistency.
Inconsistent. They also signed Marlon Byrd, Brandon Lyon. This is killing me because of what they've signed, and I see no star player here and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is really, it's got me concerned. Okay, the other pitcher that I was talking about was Nolan you want to pronounce that last name? Because I can't.
Syndergaard?
Something like that.
That sounds like what it would be pronounced as.
Yes.
Syndergaard.
He's the other prospect, but they're giving him like 3 to 4 years to be MLB ready.
All right.
And in minor leagues last year, he had 13 wins, 8 losses, 2.35 ERA. So he sounds legit to me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he's the same thing. You got to give him time. But the key is, right now with the Mets, you have an okay pitching staff.
Okay.
You want Santana to give him his best this year.
And stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
I keep saying stay healthy for all these people.
Stay healthy is the key. Nice, I'd like to see 15 games, 15 wins out of him, possibly 20, but that's asking a lot for Nice. But show us that you're reliable. Matt Harvey, I'd like to see to get 15 wins. He showed when they brought him up last year. I was impressed right off the bat. Dylan G, 10 games, is asking a lot, like I said, but the pitching's not that bad, as people think. Now we get to the bullpen, that's when it gets bad. The bullpen, I wish our starters can go all 9 innings and don't even have to worry about the pen. But the bullpen is a sad-looking bunch. Let me tell you why.
Well, okay, let's hear it.
Just real quick, Francisco, just yesterday, is done for spring training. Has elbow inflammation, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
He's done.
Inflammation.
He's done. Well, not done, but spring training he's done.
Yeah.
Then you get now Bobby Parnell. Okay, the guy throws 100-mile-an-hour fastball. Show it. You try to do other stuff. You have a 101-mile-per-hour fastball, and you're going to be the closer now. Show it. As for, it just gets ugly. I mean, it's the worst bullpen in baseball. It could possibly be the worst bullpen in baseball. It has no potential.
You need by
no
the end of
potential.
the year, 162 perfect, complete games.
Yeah, right. I wish. This is relievers. Greg Burke, whoever the heck he is. Robinson, never heard of him. Josh Egan, I've heard of. He pitched last year. Familia, he can go in the pen. Hefner can go in the pen. Lion can go in the pen. Mejia can go in the pen, but they've screwed him up already. Parnell's the other one. And that's really it.
Mm.
You know, out of those guys I just read, do you see any star potential?
Not really.
You know? I mean, the starters have potential, but other than that, it's going to be a long, long year for us Met fans. So, like I said, I'm hoping they keep us, just make us watch, you know? As I always watch the first game of the season, I try to watch every single game, and at a point, it gets aggravating to watch. I mean, I think I lost it when Luis Castillo dropped that fly ball against the Yankees. I was done.
That was hilarious.
Shut up.
That was one of the most
Shut
hysterical
up.
things I'd ever seen.
I couldn't believe it. My grandma could have caught that, okay? My own grandmother could have caught that. My dog could have caught that. Hi, puppy. Who's dead asleep right now. But, come on, how don't you catch that fly ball? You could have caught it with your hat.
Mm.
And don't give me, oh, the lights ruin my eyes. You know what I would have done with him? You're benched the next 10 games for even... How do you miss that?
I don't know. It was pretty funny, though.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Pretty funny for me.
Whatever. Douchebag. Anyway, like I said, we're almost a week away from spring training. WBC starts in March. We'll actually get more into that because I actually get excited for the WBC.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's fun to watch. Something different. You know.
It's more exciting than spring training.
It is. It's definitely more exciting than spring training. It just, time-wise, it kind of sucks because they're playing everywhere. So some games are on at 5 o'clock in the morning. Some games are on at 10 o'clock p.m., 10 o'clock a.m. So it all varies. So we'll get more into that when it comes along. Tomorrow we'll figure out what we have in store. I know Saturday. Can't wait. King of the Smarks, Jerry, me, you should be fun.
Oh, interesting should be.
You think interesting? I'm thinking
It'll
more
be
fun.
It'll be fun.
I will point out that Jerry, I think he wants to talk about the importance of the mid card, and we'll have more. We're gonna do more what ifs on Saturday, and we're gonna turn it around and put TNA in WWE. So that's what we'll do on Saturday. As for today, we're done. That's it. Over.
We're done.
Done. So I'm John.
This is Aaron.
And see you guys tomorrow.